Ooh, it's okay. Good morning. I'm Linda Gansky, and I am serving as worship associate this morning alongside our minister, Reverend Diana McLean. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Mankato. All of you, whether joining us in person or on Zoom, are welcome in this time that we make sacred together. We extend an especially warm welcome to you if this is your first time attending one of our worship services. We appreciate that it can be difficult to cross the threshold of a new church for the first time, whether in person or online. Sunday morning is a team effort, and we are grateful for those who help to make it happen. If you are attending by Zoom today, you are welcome to stay after the service to visit together. For those attending in person, we have refreshments in the fellowship hall after worship. We acknowledge that our fellowship meets on the traditional homelands of the Dakota peoples. In continuing to understand our shared history, accepting responsibility for reparations, and building relationships in the here and now, we want to go beyond land acknowledgement as we seek to be good relatives. We just have a few announcements. Please note that there will be no worship on September 1st, which is the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. In addition to our usual volunteer sign-up sheets, there is a clipboard on the buffet in the foyer to sign up for volunteering at Pride Fest on September 7th. Please join us if you are able. And finally, on September 22nd, instead of worship here at the fellowship, we are invited to attend Dave Braveheart's memorial at the Makato Wachipi Mankato Powwow, where our congregation will be honored by Dave's family. We hope many of you will attend. Together, let us kindle a flame symbolizing our co-creation of sacred space at home and in this place made sacred by years of love. If you are with us on Zoom, please write in the chat that a chalice is lit on your street. And please say the words with me from the pew cards or the slide. We are a welcoming purple of diverse beliefs who commit to nourish the spirit, broaden the mind, nurture the earth, and build community. May this flame we kindle remind us to strive today and every day to love beyond belief.
We see them on big screens and small ones, in comic books and in toy stores, wearing their fancy outfits with capes or masks or armor. They save the world in big, dramatic ways, fighting the bad guys, defending the helpless, always on the side of good. Isn't that what we do too, or at least what we hope to do? Together, we work for a better world, speak out against tyrants and bullies, use our privilege in service of those with less power, trying always to answer the call of love. And this is where we learn to do it, or learn to do it better, or teach others to do it. This is superhero school, and we are all invited to enroll, to choose the path of good and become the kind of superheroes our world needs. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit, and we'll join in singing hymn number 389, Gathered Here. What do you think about whether we have enough to do around? What do you think about whether we have enough to do around? Are you feeling like strong singers this morning? Yes, I'm seeing some yeses and hearing some no's. We're going to give it a try. So we'll sing it once together, and then we'll break into parts, starting with this side.
Ready? Once together. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Generosity is one of the spiritual qualities we aspire to, and one of the practices we nurture in this community. With our offering, we give of our resources to support the work of this church. We know that giving financially is only one of the ways we support that work. We do it too with our time and talents. All three are necessary for the vital work we do for each other and for the wider community. You can give in person or as the baskets are brought around, or online using either the QR code on your Zoom screen and on the Pew card, or the giving link on our UUFM webpage. If you are here in person but give online, as many of you do, we invite you to touch the basket as it passes in a small ritual of recognition of your financial commitment to the congregation. Please give as generously as you are able. Our reading this morning is from a different kind of superhero, Christopher Reeve, a story in the UUA curriculum, Faithful Journeys. It was a hot, muggy morning. Christopher was not sure he really wanted to be out riding in a competition. Maybe it would be nicer to take the kids sailing, where there could be a cool breeze. Well, he thought, I'm lucky to be able to choose between riding and sailing. Plenty of people watching Christopher that day thought the same thing. He was many people's idea of a superhero. He was the actor who played Superman in the movies, and in real life, he fit the part. Handsome, strong, always striving toward a goal, chasing his best time or learning a new skill. And then, in an instant, everything changed. His horse balked at a jump, sending Christopher crashing to the ground. When he woke up in the hospital, he couldn't move his hands or feet. He couldn't even breathe without the help of a machine. Although doctors could repair his neck, they could not fix the injury to his spinal cord. Now his brain was unable to communicate with most of his body. Even though he still had all his strength, intelligence, and willpower, there was simply no way for him to move any part of his body below his head. Of course, Christopher Reeve had never actually been able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, but he had been a tremendous athlete. He had always liked a goal, a challenge, something to work for. Before his accident, Christopher's challenges involved acting, directing, and sports. Now his challenges were different. Now it took all his strength and determination to sit up in a wheelchair and steer it by puffing on a straw. He might never again be able to hug his wife and sons, or ride a horse or sail, but he realized he still had a lot: the love of his family and money and fame from his career. Christopher decided to use everything he still had to work for a new goal. He hoped there might be a cure for spinal cord injuries, not just for himself, but also for many thousands of others whose lives had changed when their backs or necks were broken. He and his wife set up the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. They asked people for money to help pay scientists to research a cure and to help pay for ramps and other helpful things for other people with spinal cord injuries. Christopher realized that even though he could no longer use his arms and legs, he had a power that many people do not. He was famous. People thought of him as Superman. Now he could really be a hero, not by flying through the air to rescue people, but by speaking up. Because he was famous, people would pay attention, they would listen, and they would want to help. It wasn't easy for him to speak, but he knew this was a special chance to use the power he had and make the world a better place. So Christopher started speaking. He asked Congress to support stem cell research that might lead to a cure for spinal cord injuries. He asked groups of people to get involved and donate money. He talked with others who had experienced injuries like this. He even spoke on television to millions of people during the Academy Awards, showing that although his abilities had changed, his heart and his soul were strong and capable. A writer for Reader's Digest magazine interviewed Christopher Reeve in 2004 and asked him why he had joined a Unitarian church. He answered, "It gives me a moral compass. I often refer to Abe Lincoln, who said, 'When I do good, I feel good. When I'm bad, I feel bad. And that is my religion.' I think we all have a little voice inside us that will guide us, maybe God, I don't know. But I think that if we shut out all the noise and clutter from our lives and listen to that voice, it will tell us the right thing to do." Christopher Reeve showed what a real-life hero is, a person who listens to the voice inside them and acts when that voice tells them the right thing to do.
On a recent road trip, Shay introduced me to the singer and songwriter Alana Sabatini, whose songs include what she calls some reclaimed hymns. She has given us permission to use one called A New Doxology in this service, including using the recording of her singing it to help us learn it. We're going to do that with a video, which includes the lyrics printed on the screen. She's going to sing it through 5 times. I believe it's 5. It's fairly simple, but I'm going to invite us to just listen the first time through. The tune may be very familiar to some of you, depending on your faith backgrounds. So we'll just listen to her sing it, and then I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in whenever you feel ready.
I am a source of light and peace. It flows from my humanity. I claim my strength and agency.
My life is blooming beautifully.
Please be seated. Claiming our strength and our agency is our theme for today. Who here is a fan of superhero comics or movies, or perhaps you were when you were younger? Does anyone have a favorite superhero? Wonder Woman. Love it. Nancy Drew. All right, we're expanding the version of superhero. I like it. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. Miles Morales. Okay, yep. All right. So the superheroes that I was most familiar with in childhood were Superman, as played by Christopher Reeve, and Wonder Woman. I actually had Wonder Woman underoos. Is anybody the right age to remember superhero underoos? Yes. My parents made sure I knew that that did not give me superpowers and I should not try risky things. I did have a cousin who jumped off a garage wearing a Superman cape. He was fine, but cautionary notes. But despite having some familiarity with those superheroes as a child, I was much more into Star Wars than I was into superheroes. It was actually only in my son's teenage years when we would watched quite a few of the Marvel movies together when he was still living at home. Our family enjoyed doing that all together, and sometimes he even will still send us a teaser for an upcoming Marvel movie. So over those years, I became much more familiar with the Marvel superheroes, especially Captain America, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and more. In many ways, of course, superheroes are completely unlike us. Their backstories usually look very little like our lives. Iron Man was fabulously wealthy, the son of a famous inventor, and he himself was also a genius inventor who created a mechanical suit that allowed him to fly, have superhuman strength, and be bulletproof. Bruce Wayne, who became Batman, was also wealthy, as was the Black Panther. Captain America was injected with a serum to create a super soldier during World War II from a small, fairly weak young man. Spider-Man got his powers from a radioactive spider bite. Captain Marvel was exposed to energy from a high-tech device that gave her cosmic powers. Whoever your favorite superhero is, they probably have unusual powers or access to unusual resources or both. It can be very easy to assume that it takes those things to save the world. From there, it's not a big leap to feel like we ordinary people can't possibly save the world. We aren't superheroes, right? And even the superheroes don't always win. Some of them get hurt or even die. Sometimes they are unable to save everyone they want to, sometimes even the people they love. If even superheroes aren't always successful, shouldn't we mere mortals be discouraged? It might seem like it, but I actually don't think we should. I think we all have superpowers, things we are especially good at, like the children in our story this morning, maybe even things that we are uniquely good at, things that make a difference in the world. As we heard in the reading, after his riding accident, Christopher Reeve figured out that his superpower was using his fame to get people to support research for spinal cord injuries and to provide resources to those who have those injuries. None of us are as famous as Christopher Reeve, but we do have our circles of influence, and maybe putting those circles to their best use is one of our superpowers. But I wonder, what else might be one of your superpowers? Something you can use to create more good in the world. Thinking back to both our reading and the story for all ages, I wonder, what might the little voice inside you be inviting you to do? Maybe you're really good at making people feel comfortable talking with you about difficult topics. Maybe you're able to engage people with widely varying worldviews with respect. Maybe you're a really great listener, someone people trust with their most tender stories in their most vulnerable times. Maybe you're really good at organizing people or planning events or hosting groups. Maybe you're especially good at gardening, at caring for and playing with children, or working with computers. Any of those skills can be put to use in ways that serve the greater good. And I know that many of you are doing exactly those kinds of things already in a wide variety of contexts that do increase the good in the world, and it does make a difference. But even if you can't think in this moment of outward actions that feel like a superpower to you, I want you to know that your presence might be a superpower all by itself. You might be the person who makes someone feel less alone when they are in despair. And that has ripple effects that you can't see and may never even know about. Maybe your superpower is being completely, authentically who you are in a world or a context where that isn't easy. That superpower helps others have the courage to be authentically themselves, again, sometimes without your ever knowing it. We all have superpowers, visible or not. This morning, I'm hoping that we will make them a bit more visible to ourselves and to each other. Go ahead and wrap up the sentence you're on. But know that you don't have to be done with the sharing. I'm inviting you to wear your stars into coffee hour and continue the conversations if you want to. They are. They're slowing down. All right. So the Marvel superheroes that I named earlier, Captain America, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and others, as any of you who've watched those movies probably already know, they weren't just individual superheroes, they became a team. They were the Avengers. They combined their superpowers and were able to accomplish even more than they would have if they were working as solo superheroes. We get to do that too, here and in many other places where we pool our skills and our talents and our passions with others who have different ones, different abilities. And so my invitation to us is, may we listen to our internal voices, may we recognize our own superpowers, and may we use them to make the world a better place. Only through all of us doing that, individually and together, do we have the opportunity to save the world. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 318, We Would Be One. It's in the gray hymnal, but will also be on the screen.
As Reverend Diana extinguishes the sanctuary chalice, please extinguish your chalice at home and say the words with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we prepare to leave our time of shared worship, may we recognize the powers we already have, work to develop new ones, and use them to serve the higher good. May that be our practice and our prayer. I now invite you to turn toward each other for our singing benediction, blessing each other with these words, knowing that we are each a blessing to each other.